Okay, this is Critical Discussions, episode 16, and it is an international episode. We're going to talk about things that have happened or are unfolding right now in the world. But we're going to start with things kind of related to Russia, to Ukraine, to all of that whole thing. In Latvia, Latvian authorities cancelled TV rains, or Дождь as it's called in Russian language, TV license. And amidst this, there's been a lot of no, I don't want to say discussions, because it's not really discussions, more as Russian liberals, Russian opposition is just reeing like, how dare they, these Latvians, how dare they, what the fuck, it was a mistake, blah 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 blah. I'm not watching Dождь, TV Rain. I don't give a fuck really about them, to be honest, but I still wanted to kind of understand, so what's going on exactly. And what's going on apparently is that after basically the whole everybody who's worked this channel couldn't really work anymore from Russia. Latvia, I think about 6 months ago, maybe more, offered basically for Russian journalists who, basically like in exile from Russia, to come to Latvia and work there and continue to do their job, basically. As far as I can understand, Dozhd is and was in opposition to Kremlin and against this war in Ukraine and so on and so forth. However, their attitude is something that is that kind of an attitude why people across the world, and especially in like Baltic states, Eastern Europe, so on and so forth, really dislike Russians. Because apparently, and I didn't pay too much attention to Russians abroad, basically how they speak, what kind of image they project, what kind of things they say. However, if I right now start paying attention to this, there's a lot of imperialistic rhetoric, even amongst liberals, amongst opposition, so on and so forth. It's as if the rest of the world fucking owes to these people something. Which, spoiler, nobody owes them fucking nothing. This is, I just want to quickly show, basically, TV Rain got 3 strikes for 3 violations of Latvian law, and they got the license was revoked. And exactly this admits basically the creator of this TV Rain, of this studio, I don't know. She says exactly that. Formally we have several times violated the law of Latvia. She just admits this directly. And they do not, they acknowledge this. They're not denying it. So this is the creator of TV Rain, the head of it. She's admitting that, yes, her channel, her editors, whatever stuff, they have violated the law several times. Not just once. It's not 1 strike and you're out. No, it's 3 strikes, now you're out, apparently. She's admitting to this. And yet, all of the opposition, all of the people who support basically, I guess, kind of independent, anti-Kremlin, I guess, media. They've all basically a lot of people. Meduza created basically in English as well a statement regarding this whole situation, and a lot of people signed. A lot of Russian journalists, like new newspaper, Novaya Gazeta as it's called, like basically Projekt, Davada. There's like a lot of basically editors of a lot of independent media in Russia signed that, oh, like this is unacceptable, blah blah blah. But I just don't understand that. Did you break the law? TV Rain, editors, staff, whatever. Yes, you did. Was it you who broke the law, or was it Latvian government authorities who broke the law? No, it was you who broke the law. Have you broken the law repeatedly? Yes, you have. Have you just been fined 10,000 euros? Just like a few, I think like a week ago or something like that. They were fined 10,000 euros because they displayed a map where Crimea was in Russian Federation. Annexed Crimea that Russia is occupying right now, on like live broadcast of an opposition media that's been given the opportunity from safety of Latvia, from safety of European country to continue their broadcast, and yet they're still violating the laws of that country, and they don't understand that this is unacceptable. If you are in another country who granted you the ability to safely live there, safely work there, you should stay. There is a Russian proverb, тише воды, тише воды ниже травы. Calmer than water, lower than grass. You should like lay low, lay down, and be as fucking polite, as compliant with all the laws and regulations as humanly possible, and go even above that. Not even as humanly possible, but like as inhumanly possible. You should be so grateful that you've given opportunity. And yet, we get not only repeated violations, quite gross violations. Like, how can you, like, what the fuck are your editors or whoever is working on your maps or on like presentation, video editors, so on and so forth? Who the fuck is working there if they can't spot that occupied fucking Crimea is on the map, belongs to Russia, that you're broadcasting? What the fuck is that? Maybe if you want to blame somebody, blame yourself, your staff. Maybe think about maybe that there's inside your fucking Дождь, inside of your TV Rain staff, maybe there's a fucking mole there. How about that? Think about that, for example. If you want to think about conspiracy and shit like that. Yeah. Also, they've been calling, once again, on live broadcast from Latvia, they've been calling Russian army, not Russian army, or not occupant, army of occupants, not Kremlin army, not Putin's army. They've been calling it our army. As if like associating themselves opposition. So the channel, the media, who's in opposition to Putin is associating themselves with murders and this mobilized cunts who are right now in the territory of Ukraine, are there to kill Ukrainian people, to advance the territory, to seize the territories and so forth. So they're associating themselves with that. I mean, I'm sorry. Do I miss fucking some meeting where this is acceptable? I don't. I live in fucking Belarus. It's a dictatorship state. I despise this country. It is not my country. It's not my government. It's not my army, forces, special forces, whatever. Nothing of it is mine. If anything, I want to disassociate myself as fucking far, distance myself as far as I can from all of that. Because nothing of it is mine. I never elected anybody. By the time I was able to actually go and vote, this country was already fucking totalitarian dictatorship shithole. Nobody asked me. It's the fault of my parents, of the people who came before me. No, this is not my shit. Why would I ever say that this is my army? And yet, these people right now who are working as this fucking independent opposition channel, they're saying that Russian army is their army. Dude, like, what the fuck is that? I don't understand. Like, is it my, like, sort of autistic thing speaking that people can't, like, draw, like, straight lines? Or what the fuck is this shit? It actually pisses me off because, like, look, there's a lot of, like, Shenderovich is there, there's, like, a Kuchera is there, whatever, Miryazona is there, there's Meduza is there, like, new newspaper, Nova Gazeta is there. There are a lot of people, Max Katz is there, there's a lot of people there. Moscow Times is there, The Insider is there. In there, I mean, in this signed the letter regarding the statement of whatever would just happen, right? So a lot of people who I kind of see as, like, basically people who are actually delivering correct information, so on and so forth, right? And are fighting against at least, like, misinformation campaign by Kremlin, right? These are all the people who are fighting this misinformation campaign. But dude, you have, like, Khodorkovsky is there, like basically most Plющev is there. Basically all the people who I watch and who I, like, get the news from, like, real news, not garbage that Russian state propaganda is spitting out, they're all signed this letter. And yet, I don't understand how could you sign that letter in full honesty. Because Dozhd has broken the law of the country. Oh, yeah, but by the way, there was this thing that they needed to do is to put Latvian captions on their streams or broadcasts, wherever. And they didn't do that. So you are, like, the country sheltered you, given you the opportunity to work from that place, and you are repeatedly broken the laws of that country. Like, how can I don't understand? Like, now I start to slowly understand why Ukrainians, why Baltic states, actually Polish people actually hate, and or at least, like, have some disdain for Russians. Because I now start seeing that Russians are imperialists. Russians are, even the fucking opposition, Russians apparently don't know how to actually live in a lawful society. Because it's not Russia. If you broke some law, who gives a fuck? Like, nobody enforces any laws, and if somebody enforces it, maybe you can pay off something, and if not, well then fucking whatever, jail, whatever the fuck. This is not the fucking situation. Nobody's jailing them. They've been given an opportunity. They fucked up. Latvia doesn't have a responsibility to host and allow, like, who the fuck knows, maybe some Kremlin fucking agents to stay in the territory of Latvia and broadcast their messages. They don't have this responsibility. And yet they've done it. And the editors of Dozhd, of TV Rain, they fucked up. So if you fuck up, own to it. This is the thing, like, this infantility that I see even sometimes, like, just in conversations with older Belarusian people, with my parents, with, like, some other people from other families, like with parents of my friends sometimes. I see this infantility that people cannot own up to their mistakes. They cannot say, yeah, I fucked up, I'm sorry. They start blaming other people. Like, at least the main the creator, right, Natalia Sindeyeva, at least she said that, we broke the law. But I don't understand how can all of these people, from editors from Echa, Rus News, again, like, all of them. I'm gonna link this article from Meduza because it's in English. Everybody can read it. But I don't understand. Like, you fucked up. Not all of you, but, like, Dozhd fucked up. So if you fucked up, like, own to it and say, like, thank you very much, Latvia, that you've given us this opportunity. We fucked up. We will try to do better next time. And now, just thank you all. And now we will try to find some other place for us to stay and broadcast from. And if you are an actual owner of that fucking shit, you should know how to, like, prevent all of that. You really need to be, like, not on your like C game, not on your B game. You need to be not even on, like on your A game. You need to be on your S game. You need to be like fucking supreme tier. Not just like this, oh yeah, well, whatever, regulators, oh my god, we need to do this, we need to do that, oh my god, no way, how the fuck? What is this shit? And I don't understand, like literally, like a shit ton of people, Latinina, whatever, Milov, like a lot of people are fucking just saying some garbage, absolutely atrocious shit that, like Milov, for example, right? I kind of like his position, kind of harsh positions on many topics, but
крупнейший давайте вот просто зададим себе вопрос, вот внимательно посмотрим на всю эту ситуацию. То есть Дождь вещает много месяцев.
Once again, like, who gives a fuck if he's the biggest channel, the biggest independent media or whatever, opposition media? Who gives a fuck? He did some shit. And yet people are saying, oh, yeah, like, if you basically agree with nullifying the license of Дождь, of TV Rain, means that you are kind of helping Putin. Dude, what are you fucking talking about? Either you break the law and you get punished for it, and the law it's not the Russian standards, one law for me, another law for you. No, it's just one standard. You are a Russian fucking media that came to Latvia. Follow the fucking law. Or get the fuck out. Like, what the fuck is this shit?
Является крупнейшим независимым из-за границы после всего этого путинского прессинга. Дождь очень популярен. Он работает на российскую аудиторию в десятки миллионов.
TV Rain is very popular. It's working for like whatever millions and of tens of millions, as he's saying, which is not true really, because they have 2 million people subscribed on their YouTube channel. So it's millions, not tens of millions.
Человек. И проводит очень четкую, очень супер важную. Причем это делают русские для или немецкой волны, которые вещают, имеют огромную аудиторию.
Once again, like it's now I really start to understand now how and why Ukrainians and, like I'm saying, Baltic states, they really don't like Russians at all. Doesn't really matter. Like every Russian is a bad Russian. Because even these people, opposition, they are saying shit right now. They should have said, yeah, it's actually like, yeah, it's really bad that it happened, but Дождь fucked up, and that's the price for a fuck up. And that's by the way, that's a really good price for a fuck up, because you're not jailed. Nobody's sending you. Nobody's just deporting you back to Russia. They're just revoking TV license. By the way, Дождь doesn't have TV license in Russia, right? And I think in one like quick video I've seen, I think like either editor of Дождь or somebody said basically we can't really do anything in Russia anyway in terms of like TV broadcast, but we have like a YouTube channel. So then I don't understand really. So what's the matter then? If you can't really broadcast in Russia anyway, I'm not sure like if this Latvian license gives them ability to broadcast in Russia, which I doubt. So if they're not broadcasting in Russia anyway, broadcasting there is like a TV broadcasting license, right? Like if you're not doing this TV thing in Russia, who the fuck cares? Like you just go back to your YouTube thing and do your YouTube thing. If your main audience is anyway Russian people, and you don't have a TV license to broadcast in Russia, who cares if Latvia revoked your broadcast license? What, you're not gonna spread your message to however many Latvians or like Lithuanians, Estonian, Russian speaking, right? Like Estonians, Polish people. Who cares? You're blocked. Дождь is also blocked in Ukraine since like 2017. I think because they also showed or like basically repeated the same statements that Crimea and annexed Crimea is actually part of Russia. So it's like, it's not just these free strikes that they got in Latvia right now. It's the things that they've said before as well. You have to have a fucking moral compass, for crying out loud. You can't just like tiptoeing your fucking your way, you know, out of like real discussions. Some things in the world are black and white. It is Russia who fucking started everything. It was Russia who started one Chechen war, second Chechen war, Georgian war, like first Ukrainian war with annexation of Crimea and all the shit and supporting and creating basically separate regions in Donbass and Lugansk, Donetsk, whatever, 2014-15. It is now Russia who's doing this fucking shit. Before that, it was USSR and fucking oppressive machinery that basically tried to eradicate like fucking independence and sovereignty of states. Like Belarus, for example. We've had our own language. Now, in modern Belarus, nobody speaks Belarusian language. Nobody. Besides maybe, like, I don't know, like a few thousand people who, I don't know, seen like, as freaks right now. It's Russia all the time. Russia and like this imperialistic shit. Now I start to understand. Now I start to see it and understand this. Why people actually fucking hate Russia and Russians, no matter fucking who they are. So yeah, don't know. Very interesting that, I mean,
За что выперли «Дождь»
I don't know who this guy is. I just noticed this video.
из эфира, признали аннексию Крыма и показали это у себя в эфире. Хотя есть 100 способов, благодаря богатому русскому языку, избежать соответствующих формулировок и не акцентировать на этом внимание. А они это сделали.
I don't know where this like is taken from, but this is like absolutely everything.
Это мародеры, пользуясь от дождя.
Yeah, Russian army is an army of oppressors, of murderers, of absolute like inhumane fuckers, and there are a lot of them there. There are a lot of absolute fucking atrocious pieces of shit. So you can't say it's our army. It's like your army, whoever fucking said it on Дождь. Some whatever presenter, who the fuck cares? You can't say that, because then you're saying that, yeah, it's my army, like I stand by it. No, it's not. Like if you feel like that, okay, well then get the fuck out of good countries like Latvia, whatever, Lithuania, it doesn't matter. Get the fuck back to Russia if it's your country, if it's your army. Go support them. I've watched that video that when he said like basically that we're helping our like poor mobilized guys who are like freezing in Ukraine right now. Like, I'm like watching it and I'm like, what in the fuck are you saying? And why in the fuck are you saying that? Because it doesn't make any fucking sense. Like I can understand an empathy towards a human being. Like, yeah, you can imagine how fucking awful it is. But at the same time, you must fucking understand that there should not be any sympathy for those people. Because they are fucking invading army. They're killing, murdering fucking en masse people of Ukraine who did absolutely fucking nothing to deserve that. They were just born in Ukraine. In times when fucking Putin has created this fucking absolutely atrocious war machine in Russia and set a target of Ukraine. Put a target on Ukraine. So it's so despicable to even say that. It is so despicable to even say that. And apparently, yeah, Дождь will try to like get a new license in another country. I still don't understand really. Like, if they are blocked in Russia, I've never like really, like I'm saying, I don't watch TV Rain, so I don't understand how those licenses specifically work. Does it mean that like if they get license from like Latvia or some other country or whatever, it means that with that license they can broadcast to the Russian TV? If not, then who the fuck cares about this TV license? Who fucking watches TV anyway? Like, everything is on the internet right now. Like, do your fucking YouTube channel. work on that. Like, who cares? I don't understand this. Why is such an important thing to be on TV? Whatever. Yeah, and the fucking Latina. I've heard that she is like an imperialistic. I mean, she's kind of trying to be opposition, but yeah, I've seen like kind of, I don't know, things that she's saying, kind of imperialistic garbage. But yeah, now it's a good sort of way to just understand that Russian opposition en masse is like, yeah, they're opposing Putin, they're opposing Kremlin, but it doesn't automatically make them good humans, good like cosmopolitans, for example. Which is, I feel like every human should be cosmopolitan, should be thinking that they're living on this globe, on the planet Earth first. They're humans first. They belong to Earth first. And so they shouldn't be like this nationalistic kind of shit, percolating basically conversations and things like that. Should be some basis of like civility and things like that, and we need to go from there instead of, oh, you live here, you live there, whatever. Let's fight. But apparently a shit ton of Russians actually hold these views that fucking the whole world owes them something. It doesn't. So yeah, it's not the note that I wanted to start with, but this news was just developing right now. And so yeah, I apparently hold like very different position from a lot of this, or most of this, like liberals, whatever. Yeah. And I just wanted to basically put it out. And apparently Lithuania will also cancel the either cancel the license or just will stop the broadcast. I'm not sure really. Didn't read the news yet. But yeah, what's interesting is that basically this guy Ivar Sabolins, I guess, Abolish, something like that. He's basically the politician or like authority who is responsible for closing TV Rain in 2014. That's the other side of the story, right? One side of the story is that Дождь fucked up. Her, like the head of Дождь, kinda admitted it, but kinda reluctantly, basically. And all the opposition, basically, or more most of the opposition, supports Дождь, not actually saying that you should do better. You should do better. No, they're not saying this. They're like, oh, fucking Latvia, oh, yeah. But there's the other side of the story, is that this guy who actually basically canceled this license for TV Rain in Latvia in 2014 was saying that Latvia should be sending more money to Yanukovych and pray to God that basically so Ukraine doesn't get close to European Union. Otherwise, what are you gonna do with like millions of Russians there? So he held quite fucking chauvinistic and just in general really shitty views. He was when Putin annexed Crimea, he was saying 2014. He was saying that the spectacular speech from Putin, brilliant speech, and that like Western, basically useless Western politicians could just fuck off. Unfortunately, something like that. So once again, like the irony that this person revoking the license of anti-Putin, anti-war, basically TV channel that did fuck up and did break the rules, but the fact that this person in 2014 was holding these kind of views is fucking just insane. It's amazing. It's insane. I can tell you what I was doing in 2014/15. I actually went. Oh, and by the way, the either editors of TV Rain or somebody else, I forgot already who was it, or like some stuff, I don't remember who was it, actually traveled to Crimea, to occupied Crimea. I think maybe after the bridge was created. Basically, they visited occupied Crimea, not through Ukraine, but through Russia somehow. So there's that. So they also basically broke the international law, or just the law of Ukraine, by visiting that occupied territory. So there's that. But in 2014/15, I was working with Ukrainian team. We were doing, not gonna say what, but like it doesn't matter. The fact of the matter, I visited Ukraine at that point, was living for a few months in Ukraine, and when I was talking to people of Ukraine, I at the time was like 25 or something like that. I already understood that annexation of Crimea is fucking bad. And I never once said that the speech is great, everything is amazing. I was saying that this is fucking tragedy what just happened. This is insane, and obviously Crimea is Ukrainian territory. I was saying that back in 2015 once again, when I was like 25 or so. And that cunt, I'm assuming, was a bit older and should have fucking known better. And he was living in a better place than I was, and yet apparently that does not doesn't mean that you have brains. That's what I'm saying. All right. There was something else that he said. What did he say? There was one more thing. One more little. Oh, it was. Yeah. In 2013, he was saying that look, today, whoever Putin is, he is keeping Russia together, basically, protecting it from chaos. This is like just so insane to actually say things like that. Like, once again, at that time, I already understood that dictators is not good. Dictatorships is not good. Authoritarians is not good. And yet this dude just didn't get it. Didn't get it. So there's another side of this story. And apparently this dude, Ivars, I'm not sure really, Abolinch, said that he regrets about his old statements, and he doesn't hold the same views, and that when he wrote this at that time, he was operating on the available information that he's got. It's like, okay, so when you need some kind of additional information to understand that dictatorships are bad, authoritarianism is bad, that annexing territory of another sovereign country is bad. You need some other context for this. Really. How old are you? Like, are you 5 that you need additional context to understand that these are bad things? Have you ever read history? Yeah, it's just so on one thing, I do not sympathize with TV Rain whatsoever. Because like I'm saying, they should have known better. They should have done way better. They should have went above and beyond to never get any mistakes, never get any garbage that apparently is in their hands out into the world. And yet they have done it. And so they deserve to be punished. They deserve the license to be revoked. The law is the law. If you are actually living in a fucking lawful country, dude, like I'm saying, like, you've escaped a lawless country. So if you come to a lawful country, follow the fucking laws. The laws, and following those laws and or being punished for not following it is what keeps the fucking societies running. Keeps people civil. If you know that there is a law and nobody's above the law, everybody should follow it, that's the difference between shithole like Belarus or Russia and better countries like whatever, Germany and UK or something like that. But it's just, on the other hand, it's just brilliant that person who actually held absolutely fucking atrocious views is the one who is right now punishing TV Rain and saying like, oh, no, I didn't have the information at the time. Cool story, bro. Cool story. All while, and I will never stop pointing this out. All while, Latvia right now is buying once again Russian gas, and in fact, Latvian gas company consists of 34% of Gazprom. So there is this saying, right? You either put your cross down or put your fucking trousers up. One of the two things. You can't, pretend that you're this fucking amazing guys and whatnot, and then that you are all for pro-democracy and blah, 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 and then you continue to send billions of dollars to Russia for gas and oil and things like that. You can't fucking do that. And they're doing this, Latvia. They're doing this right now, not directly, because directly they cannot do it. They're doing it via some third party. And it's a known thing. Everybody knows about it. So it's like, wow, okay, all right, very interesting. So on one hand, I do kind of agree that, like, yeah, so Gazprom and Putin, not an enemy. TV Rain, an enemy to the state. Because they've actually said something like the license revoked because of something like, because due to the threat of national security and what is this public order, whatever. Yeah. So once again, buying gas and continue to sponsor fucking terrorist Russia is not a threat to anyone's security, and the TV Rain is a threat to the national security. Sure. Okay. All right. Okay. Let's go with this, I guess. So yeah. And finishing basically with this whole topic. Finishing with this whole topic is one. So TV Rain immediately basically got rid of the guy who said the atrocious thing about supporting their own army and empathizing basically with this with the invading army and their boys, as they call them. And so the guy was fired, and two more people walked out basically in solidarity, and everything was fine and whatnot. Now that the Latvia actually finally definitely suspended the license, now this CEO basically of TV Rain, once again, Natalia Sindeeva, now she's actually saying, it was a mistake. Romitsky, whatever, guys, come back. It was a mistake. I don't want to look like a piece of shit. It was a bad mistake. So once again, right? So the guy said atrocious things. I'll try to find the exact video and put it in the links, whatever, in the description with probably captions in English, things like that. But the guy said atrocious things. TV Rain said, okay, the editorial, right? The head of it said, this is unacceptable. This is not our position. Go fuck yourself, right? Basically. Two more people stepped with him, whatever. Then, when she realizes, okay, so the license will be revoked, whatever, and we lost 3 people. And now she's going back and basically retracting her own statement, basically, because firing that person is a statement. And now she's saying that it was a mistake. So, by doing that, she automatically signs to what he said before, that yes, indeed, it is our army. We are sympathizing to them. We are, I think the video he did was implying basically that they're supporting them, trying to buy some warm clothes or things like that. Basically, helping people who are invading Ukraine, helping them to feel more comfortable on Ukrainian soil. Like, what in the fuck is this shit? How can you be opposition media living in European Union, in a country who gave you shelter there, and you are doing all of this shit? Like I'm saying, now I start to get more and more and more why people fucking hate Russians. And that, like, there is literally something rotten in the fucking brain, that there's these imperialistic things, they are alive.
Дорогие мои коллеги, и
It's just like, I don't even want to watch this shit because I've watched it already, first of all, but I know this look on the face. It's like when you've down, I don't know, like half a liter of alcohol, whatever, 250, 300 grams, and then suddenly you become emotional and sentimental. That's the fucking face, and that's the speech of a person who just drank quite some alcohol and understood that, oh, my people, oh, come back. What the fuck is this garbage? So yeah. And with that shit, enough. I'm gonna include several links to the description. And yeah, just enough of this shit. Also, just wanted to say, what was the? No, it was something. I'm pretty sure I've seen like that this Latina, whatever. She's been ratioed quite well. I forgot what was it. There was some statement from her that was like really, really ratioed. Basically, whatever replies and yeah, something like this. 4,000 likes and 2,000 actual comments. 1 to 2, 1 to 3. That's a fucking ratio. Because usually it's like all the likes and almost no comments, but if it's really controversial, there's a lot of comments there. So people are actually calling her out on her fucking shit, which is good. Because like I'm saying, it's one thing to be against Putin and it's another thing to actually repeatedly break the law of the country who actually offered you help in really tough times. So yeah, no sympathy for them whatsoever. Zero. To Дождь, that is. But yeah, I'm gonna include a couple links. Okay. Now then, let's actually go to true, real international news. We're gonna talk about Iranian protests, right? So the protests have started in September, back in September, on 16th of September, after the death of Mahsa Amini, right? While she's been in custody for not properly wearing hijab or some shit like that, which is fucking insane. First of all, it just breaks my heart when I look at Iranian people in like 1970 or something like that. All this like in bikinis, just regular people, fucking amazing, just chilling, doing that, all of the regular European stuff, and then the fucking shit. And then the revolutions, then this fucking garbage religious state, and and it's garbage ever since. But I didn't want to basically cover the riots a month ago, because I knew that it's not gonna end. It's not gonna end in like a week or something like that. It's not gonna end in 2 weeks or whatever. And now it's been almost 2 months, 1.5 months. Almost 2 months soon, and it doesn't look like it's stopping, but it doesn't look like it's getting anywhere really, like truly. And I've seen a lot of people basically on Twitter saying like, oh, look at fucking like Russian people, Belarusian people, look at protest in Iran, look at the protest in China, look how they're doing, and where are you, why are you not protesting? And I'm like, okay, let's talk about this in half a year, basically. Let's see where it goes, because people in Russia were protesting in 2011-12. People in Russia were protesting in 14. They were protesting like in 18, probably something like that. People in Belarus were protesting in 15, in 2010, in 2020, And did it go? Did the authoritarian dictatorship regime, did they go anywhere? No, they didn't. In fact, everything got way shittier, and way worse. So if you feel like these protests will do things, okay, let's see it. Let's just see it. Because so far I haven't seen that it's actually doing anything really. But just recently the news came, basically Iran suspends morality police, but what does it mean? And it means nothing really. It doesn't mean that that women can actually not wear hijabs anymore or stuff, things like that. No, everything still stays the same basically. And in fact, there were like really conflicted reports. What does it even matter? Like, did anything actually change? Because apparently not really, because Iranians basically said that no, we are not liquidating, we're not like removing basically this morality police. So it's something like somebody basically mistranslated or like misquoted or misunderstood the general prosecutor of Iran, and so that's that. So I don't really even get like is Al Jazeera actually reporting it correctly right now, or or like just what is going on. So does anything change? Will anything change? I mean, apparently not. So yeah, like somebody said that we don't have morality police anymore. But what does it mean? Like, did it come from some real official? Was it implemented in some law? Not really. Once again, women are still need to like cover their heads and things like that. So yeah, seemingly nothing really has changed. Strict dress codes still basically exist, still there. And I really hope that this time, because there have been protests in Iran, but once again, did it go anywhere? Not really. 2019 protests, deadly protests, almost 1,500 people killed. Did it change anything? No, it didn't. And so hopefully these protests will not be just about hair, just about hat, scarves and things like that. Hopefully it will be about like, how long are we gonna continue living under this dictatorship regime? And there is no answer to this. Like, I don't know how it ends. Nobody knows. If other dictatorship countries basically anything to say, anything to go by, basically, it will end in a lot more people, a lot more dead people, and then things will get even worse for everybody else. Because then, when the protest is are over in like whatever, let's say 3-4 months, when the wave of protests is actually coming and slowing down, then they will start actually chasing and punishing all those who tried to destabilize basically the country. Like, they're not even like, they're going for rapper who protested over death of Mahsa Amini, I think I pronounced it correctly, faces execution. They are they're taking the niece of some leader of Iran, arresting. So like nobody's safe there. It's not like these giant dictatorship fucking regimes care about any lives, really. All they care about their power. All they care about staying and continuing to stay in power. That's it. They don't care about anything else. Well, I mean, they care about the wealth, their own wealth, but about at least 20 people are already facing death penalty because, of course, the fucking shithole like Iran, this in the same manner as a shithole as Belarus has death penalty. Of course, why not? So yeah, I don't know. I don't think. Truthfully, I would love for people of Iran to actually change things and actually, to be able to change something. But I'm extremely skeptical about it. Extremely skeptical. I mean, almost 500 people already dead. More than 18,000 people detained. This is like an unprecedented scale. But yeah, I wanted to cover it a little bit at least because, this is, it is, even though Iran is so far away and I don't know much about the culture, the people, and so on and so forth, right? The situation itself is really close to my heart because I know what it means to live in a dictatorship state, in an oppressive state, under an absolutely inhumane regime, when everything you say can and will be used against you. You can't criticize anything, any government, whatever, and thus you cannot invoke any changes, basically, because changes require some criticisms and then reaction to criticism. And if you're not allowed to criticize anything, because it is not how it is in Latvia, it is one rule for me here in these fucking shithole countries. It is one rule for me and another rule for you, another law for you, right? So those who are in power can do whatever the fuck they want, while those who just regular people, there's only one path, well, two paths. Either you are able to escape that place, or you just do some benign shit and then you fucking die. Or you try to fight for your freedom and then you die. It's like, okay, cool story, amazing fucking shit. So I deeply sympathize to people who are stuck in situations like that, who have to live in countries like Iran, like modern Russia, to be honest, as well. I do not sympathize with those who actually go to war and cross the border with Ukraine. Those immediately, those people I cannot, I immediately basically revoke my sympathies and empathies. But just regular people who want to live a normal life, who want to survive, and who actually would want to live in a good place, especially now where you have access to the information. You can open with relative sort of ease, depending on where you are. You can open internet, you can read things, especially if you know English language. So, yeah. This, by the way, just came, a day ago or something like that. Iranian protesters call for 3-day strike as pressure on regime builds. I don't think the pressure on regime builds, really, to be honest, not that much. But this is the only way how people can invoke and induce some changes, because this is the only way how people can directly influence their state. It is by redacting their own labor, refusing to go to work. This is the only way. Like, at least if you don't have weapons, if you are not ready to actually fight against military, against police, if you don't have that big of support somehow, from maybe external places, from I don't know, internally maybe, from conflicting parties or something like that, right? Like if you are simply living under the rule of one party, circa 1984 style, right? Dictatorship, totalitarianism. If you're just a regular person, you're a group of people, what it doesn't matter, right? Like you're people who are living under the oppression. The only way how you can at least try basically to create a revolution is peaceful revolution, that is, at least the beginning of it, whatever, is by refusing to go to work. It should be done on mass scale. It should be done on the most critical factories, basically, and the most critical companies that provide the most amount of money to the regimes, because every regime still has some bills to pay. They need money. They need money, if anything, to pay for army and police to keep the regime, satisfied and forever on the top, right? If you don't have money to pay to those guys, or the money starts dwindling, problems start to arise. And some people, maybe even inside the army and whatnot, might start question: do I need to be like basically this allegiance? Do I need really to follow it to whatever dictator, ruler, or maybe we can create our own thing? Because that's the other thing. How revolutions happen. It's when military junta, whatever, military army switches sides, basically. When there is a division inside the army, inside those with the guns. You need the guns. That's unfortunate fucking thing of all these revolutions and all these things. So God fucking forbid anybody to actually live in those places. It's fucking terrible, because chances of survival are not high in the long run. But yeah, at least like a strike and just refusing to go and work, especially if it's like governmental giant, like I'm saying, factories. Usually those places, I can draw some parallels with Belarus, wherever. Usually those are giant factories that are controlled by the state, who are responsible for like oil, refinery, or just production, for gas, for like minerals, basic natural resources, right? Usually it's that which is controlled by the state, and that which brings the state the most amount of money. So if people on those factories can actually unite in their effort and en masse stopped working, to the point that a factory collapses basically, or stops production, right? Then something can be done about it. But if people are not fast enough, if they're not shrewd enough, they don't understand that, then unfortunately, because Belarusian people didn't understand it. Once again, I'm just drawing some conclusions, because Belarusian people went to work 5 days a week, and then 2 days, Saturday, Sunday, they were protesting. It's like a fun fucking weekend activity, which was the most brain dead fucking thing that they could have done. Had they've been, had they stopped for like a week or two, work, just refuse to work. That's it. I'm pretty sure by the end of like first month, dictator would have to step down. Because his fucking oil refineries and all of these fucking places would start feeling fucking pressure. Maybe it would not have ended in like a month. Probably it needs like 3-4 months, whatever, of like really people not working, just not working. That's it. And but it's harder, obviously, because you need to save some money, right? And you need like at least something to work, at least like some, or you need to like stockpile products, or you need at least like just regular shops to work. So it's kind of, it's not as simple, but I'm saying that is like, as a regular person, your labor is what you've got. You can offer it, and you can just say, no, I'm not going to. You can refuse to work. So, I want to see how it develops. That's why I didn't report I wanted to see how it's gonna unfold. So far, it's unfolding in the way I kind of thought about, the way that, just because you're protesting for a week, 2 weeks, month, 2 months, doesn't mean that dictatorship would suddenly say like, oh yeah, of course we're gonna definitely right now all go whatever somewhere, and you have the country. Doesn't fucking work like that. Doesn't work like that, unfortunately. So yeah, I want to say I'm praying for people for Iran, but can't say that I'm that religious to do that. But I wish them luck. I hope that they will be able to actually get rid of their tyrants, and I hope it's gonna be 2020. 2022 is basically over, so the beginning of 2023, I hope it's gonna be a good year for them in terms of getting rid of, like I'm saying, tyrants, authoritarians, removing all the fucking nonsensical Sharia laws and whatnot, and actually trying to rebuild the country as it was back in 1970s, as a good, like, kind of a European style country. I don't know if they want it, but certainly the photos from 1970s look better than from 2020 or something like that. So yeah. Anyway, I think we're done with Iran for now. Let's go to another topic. Let's quickly talk about Turkey, another country with authoritarian leader, and the country who is in NATO, interestingly enough. Very interesting enough how kind of corrupt and, like I'm saying, authoritarian leaning country ended up in that block is very interesting. But they've basically introduced a new disinformation law. So let's just read one thing. According to the proposed law, those who work for internet news portals will be regarded as journalists. Public employees working in information services, public institutions will be also receiving press credentials. Internet news portals will be taken within scope of periodical publications. The proposed law named as a censorship law by journalists, because the proposal reads: those who publicly distribute information which is not really related with the security of the country inside and outside, public order or public health, with the purpose of creating concern, fear, or panic among the people, in a manner that domestic peace may be destroyed, and will be punished with an imprisonment sentence of 1 to 2 years. Let me paraphrase it. Basically, if you criticize anybody, especially if you criticize the government, you can be sentenced to 1 to 3 years. So that's fun. That's nothing that I've seen before. Obviously a joke, because both Russia, Belarus, all had fucking shit like that. And apparently Turkey's government already censors thousands of websites. I know how it feels and how terrible it feels, because just right now I'm trying to go from Twitter, open some links, and I'm getting like a plaque. This media resource has been blocked in Belarus by Ministry of Information of Belarus. I fucking kid you not. This is actually 1984. It just came, 30 years later, basically. But it is exactly like the state controls what you can and cannot see, thus controlling the narratives. And it's one thing when somebody from USA says that, when like there's a kind of big spread basically between leftists or like democratic whatever guys in like tech companies and Republicans, right? It's like, yeah, tech censorship is bad, but trust me, the fucking censorship directly from the government is on another scale, on another level. It's not a competition, obviously, because all the fucking censorship is bad. But the fact that Turkey is basically going the route of Russia, the route of Belarus, and continually doing this. It's kind of crappy. It's kind of crappy because from what I've seen, Turkey is a very interesting country with a lot of like very kind people. I'm actually very surprised all the time that I'm not at this point. I'm not surprised anymore, but every time I'm watching some videos on YouTube where people are helping animals on the street, especially cats. Most, like, I don't know, by this point I feel like it's like 90% of the time it's video from Turkey. Because there are a lot of kind people, there are a lot of very good people, a lot of very compassionate people who help those in need, in this case animals. And so seeing that, by the same rhetoric, by the way, there are a lot of good people in Belarus, there are a lot of good people in Russia, there are a lot of good people, like I'm saying, was previously saying, most likely in Iran as well, whatever, right? Across the whole globe, there are a lot of good people who are living in a very, very fucking terrible places. And yet, they're still trying to hold to their humanity and so on and so forth. But, yeah, this law this is not good. I mean, some parts of it are okay, right? Because social networks now have to provide clear, easily accessible information about which parameters are used to recommend content, must provide users with option to limit the use of personal information. But this is just like, this is the usual kind of a shit sandwich, right? You put like some good, then you put a lot of shit, then you put a little bit of good things, right? But I can definitely see how it goes, where it goes, and what's the like true purpose of this law, right? Because it's basically the law that has been created in Russia some time ago. So so basically, if the controlling body, like regulating body that regulates the internet and mass media and so on and so forth, finds some fake information, which is like, or misinformation, whatever, right? Basically the information that they don't like, you must delete it for in a span of 48 hours. I think it's the same as in Russia. Or your resource might be blocked, right? First of all, the list of this information is basically secret. And now in Turkey, this new disinformation law would require companies to remove disinformation within 4-hour time limit, which basically says that everybody's fucked. Because think about it, like especially if you're like a bigger platform, like Twitter, right? Removing something in a 4-hour time limit is insane. Like it's never gonna happen. Because people can repost things, so on and so forth, right? So it means that you can actually block any resource at any time you want. And what is sort of on the horizon is the election in Turkey. 8 months, in 8 months, the next big election, right? So this is exactly what's been happening in Belarus in like 2015. And then in 20, of course. But especially I remember it in 2015 because at that time we still had hopes, and yet at that time there's been this kind of a law that you need to remove like misinformation, whatever, and opposition, like a shit ton of opposition media was actually blocked around that time, around 2015, and basically they got exiled completely from the country because most, if not all, the traffic in the country actually goes through like a national provider, basically, and they have the ability to block the traffic and completely, like, if you're not using, and even with VPNs right now, they can like deep analyze packets, and they still can sometimes actually notice what kind of a resource you're watching or trying to access, rather, and they can block it as well. So even like with some VPNs, it's not gonna, even VPN will not help you. So this is a copycat thing. This is what's scary, is that all these regimes, the second basically the the second the line is crossed between like, are you authoritarian regime or not, then things just go to shit, because now that regime basically starts copying the worst things of all the worst regimes across the whole globe. Because now it has a blueprint already. Okay, what do I do next? How can I not fuck up? What do I do better than those previous regimes, right? Like, so, yeah. The only chance basically is to never cross that line, never to allow the government to become the authoritarian or dictatorship regime, because once it does, things go to shit. And seemingly like at least like I haven't seen in the recent history examples of how it can be reverted without like total violence and total chaos. So yeah, bad news for Turkey, bad news for obviously journalists of Turkey, of any independent media. It's really bad news, because at least like this is already requirement to delete things in just a span of whatever, and having this like misinformation or whatever. Yeah, it's I see where it's going. I know where it's going. And Turkey, freedom of the net, not free. Everything you need to know about it. So yeah, it's very unfortunate, because like I'm saying, there are a lot of good people in Turkey, and seeing that the country slowly but seemingly surely slides into authoritarianism, at least, not good. Not good at all. But yeah, we'll see. Hopefully, people of Turkey will be able to stop this slide into oblivion. Fingers crossed. Fingers crossed for them. Okay. China has infiltrated a lot of the world. Chinese police station in United States worry FBI. No shit. Apparently, yeah, that was quite a big news. I mean, haven't posted for some time, but apparently, there are Chinese agents in United States, in UK, in across the world really, and well, they're trying to influence other Chinese people. They're trying to influence in some way or another some policies. They're trying to influence people. It's really interesting. Really interesting that it's been happening basically under the nose of United States. And yeah, US had opened a number of charges related to Chinese government harassing, stalking, monitoring, and blackmailing people in the United States who have been critical of Chinese President Xi Jinping. So just the fact that some agents from China can set up like their basically operation in the United States, and then monitor media, probably, right? The social media profiles with certain probably tags, certain names. Then look who the American people who actually did this, and then harass them or intimidate them. Kind of insane. To be honest. And it's been happening in Canada as well. Like I'm saying, it's been happening in different parts of the world, different parts of the free world, which is even more important. Kind of insane. I don't know how, like, obviously investigations have been opened, so they will look into it. The fact that it kind of flew slightly under the radar just in general, because it's not like it didn't happen just yesterday, right? It's been happening, and a lot of people even on YouTube were talking about it. The fact that Chinese influence abroad, and especially influence on, like, it's not like those Chinese stations or whatever, it's not like they're doing like what Russia is doing in terms of, like, I mean, they're doing that as well in terms of like spreading completely misinformation, false narratives and whatnot, right? But it's kind of even slightly more sinister, because these Chinese like stations, right, they are actually targeting Chinese nationals abroad. They're targeting like Chinese expats, maybe, right? So it's like more sinister, because Russian kind of propaganda and whatnot, it's like all broad, really. If you understand how to get your information from the correct sources, if you can verify information, things like that, then it's not really that important, dangerous, and any sane person, any like reasonable person can 99% decipher where is the misinformation and where is actual true information. But this Chinese thing is a bit more sinister, because they're targeting specific people. And, when I'm coming from work or wherever, and in front of my like staircase, wherever, I'd be greeted by some Chinese, unknown to me person who would say like, "Are you? Did you leave this, nasty comment about Xi Jinping?" Like, that would make me way more scared, because that would feel like those like forces, they could reach anywhere, basically. You know what I mean? Especially if I'm just like if I'm not like some oppositionist, right? Oppositioner. If I'm not like really like a political figure or something like that, right? Like I'm just a guy who like left a comment on that Xi Jinping should fucking resign or whatever. He's like a fucking cunt or something like that, right? And then suddenly I'm being targeted. That's really fucking sinister. That's extremely fucking sinister, to be honest. So yeah. By the way, like just as we are on the topic of China, let's talk about Chinese lockdowns. Let's talk about zero COVID policy. Let's talk about absolute atrocity that is China right now. First of all, obviously, there is nothing left of like this China that welcomes foreign investment, that kind of wants to actually trade with the world and so on and so forth. Basically, Xi Jinping, he fucked everything up and threw everything out of the window. That's how these dictatorships go. I've heard rumors that this Communist Party might actually oust him, and yet no, he just got re-elected and no problems whatsoever. And in fact, who he like escorted, Deng Xiaoping, I think. Was it Deng Xiaoping? Forgot who he escorted. Basically, previous leader of China. He just basically escorted because that guy was in opposition to him, and now he's ousted from the Communist Party, and now it's up to Chinese people, in the same way as it's in Iran right now, to actually fight against this absolutely atrocious dictatorship, totalitarian machine, which is no small task, really. So, just a quick recap: China has had this like zero COVID policy, constant lockdowns. People are being. I've seen those videos of people, like there are like giant highways that are blocked off, and there was like one person, little like looks like a fucking shipping container kind of things, built en masse in just giant, like I don't know how many, like thousands of them, just on the highway, to basically quarantine people. What is it if not like a fucking labor camp? It's not like, I understand that it's not like people, at least seemingly, it's not like they're actually sent there to kind of be prisoners and work for free, essentially. But the parallels, dude, the parallels that you're just taking people from the streets and sending them into solitary confinement. Like, what in the fuck? What in the fuck? And it's not working. And we can see across the whole world how much, first of all, how big of an inflation that the whole scenario created, stopping the production basically and just printing money and people not working and things like that, right? Now we have shortages of goods. Now we have higher prices and higher inflation because of those printed money. While all you had to do back then, you just had to allow people to continue to work however they wanted, instead of stopping the whole world. Economy must go on, unfortunately or fortunately. And now China is continuing to ruin their own country, but now they're doing this in a way worse manner even, because they're literally like taking people, like I'm saying, from the streets and or even welding fucking doors of their houses so they can't get out of their homes. So shortages of supplies, relying just on food deliveries, that's all been ongoing in the past couple months. Now mass protests start to happen, and especially big protests have started after the fire, basically in Urumqi, Xinjiang, I don't know, hard to pronounce these things, that killed 10 people because the building was basically locked and they couldn't fucking get out. Which is, again, how is that different from, I mean, obviously it's not intentional fire, but how is it different from fucking gas chambers, for fuck's sake? How is that different? It's not. And so now protests in the same way as in Russia right now, if you get out and protest with literally piece of paper, white piece of paper, you don't have even to write anything. You would be jailed. You would be not jailed, but you will be taken into custody, into police. You would be basically you would be fined, and there would be like a protocol about I think it's either administrative or maybe it's a criminal offense. No, probably administrative offense. Basically of fakes against Russian army. Just a white piece of paper. You don't even have to write like 4 piece on that list. So the same is happening right now in China. People are just going out to streets with white pieces of paper because they can't, they can't say anything really, but everybody understands everything. So this is all ongoing right now. And well, sorry to break it, but once again, in exactly the same manner as I think that Iranian protests are unlikely to actually get anywhere really, I don't think this thing will go anywhere as well. Because these protests were already going like for 2 weeks, I think, so something like that, at least. And I mean, it's a dictatorship state with millions of policemen, army, whatever, who are most definitely, I can guarantee, paid well, and have way more weapons, obviously. And so I don't think this protest will go anywhere. Will get people anywhere. Unfortunately, because I've seen all of this happening in Russia and in Belarus already. and it didn't go anywhere. And if it does go somewhere, okay, good. I'm glad. It's amazing. It means that in some other parts of the world, yeah, something is better, and that's great. But I don't think you see the problem with these regimes is that they can go on, right? They have money. They have money. They can go on. Like, can you go on and continue to protest for month, 2 months, 3 months, 6 months? Can you really? I doubt it, because even like it gets annoying. It gets like, why are we doing this? It gets frustrating. It gets kind of, it just gets to you. Like, why are we doing this? Like, okay, we're going out to the streets, but we're not doing anything. We're not like storming some official building or something like that. We're not seizing the power. What are we doing? We're just wanting for these cunts like that, to actually listen to us. They fucking don't give a fucking flying single fuck about regular people. Not a single one. Not a single one. And they don't even care. Like the Chinese economy is slowing down, and obviously, like not only the world tries to move the production, like Apple is trying to move production of their products from China. They don't care really. For themselves, they have a lot of money. They will not be starving to death anytime soon. You, the rest of you, millions, billions, don't care. That's what I'm saying. Like, it's great that this is not just localized to something like Shanghai or Guangzhou or Beijing. It's good that the protests are happening in more cities and in bigger cities and in these regions. That's really interesting, if you know what I mean about these regions. On the east and north of the country of China. But I don't think it's enough. And especially because especially because China has so much control over the internet, over the means of communication. Dude, they can censor a lot of things. I understand that a lot of people kind of learned how to use VPNs and things like that, but they can still censor a lot of stuff. Meaning that organizing between people what to do next, how to pursue, and what to do just in general, it's hard. And also, I don't see at least I don't know that I've seen really. Is there like some leader of opposition or something like that, or is it just spontaneous mass kind of a event? Because as far as I can see, that it is just kind of spontaneous sort of event. But the problem with that is that, well, at some point it will become disorganized. At some point it will be just people, protesting, going out, whatever. But you need something more concrete. You need some plan. What do you try to achieve with this? And so far, I don't see that step down to Xi Jinping, right? Democracy and rule of the law. It's all amazing, but you should have been trying to protect democracy and the rule of the law when China was suppressing that rule of the law in Shanghai. Was it Shanghai? In Hong Kong, sorry, in Hong Kong. When they were installing there and actually demolishing real democracy that Hong Kong have enjoyed. So yeah, I don't know. It's, to me, it looks bleak because every time I see people going up against the ginormous oppressive machinery, like China, like Russia, like Belarus, like Iran, I don't see good outcomes for people. I just don't see them. I just don't see how it can happen. So yeah. And the thing is, this zero COVID policy is so insane, especially because there are some vaccines right now, right? Like, do you trust them enough or not? Up to you to decide. But especially right now, I don't think like this virus is even that deadly after all these like millions and myriads, whatever mutations. It's not even that deadly anymore. So it's like just having the zero COVID policy is not about the zero COVID policy. It's about actually exerting control on people. And I think everybody knows that. I think people understand that. And it's extremely unfortunate. Extremely unfortunate because, well, you, like, just as a single person, right, or whatever, several people, it's almost impossible to stand against this giant oppressive machinery. So yeah. Apparently China abandons key parts of COVID zero strategy. You can see it just 1 hour ago, so I didn't see this news before. China is lifting its most severe COVID policies, including forcing people to quarantine camps just a week after Lengman protests. Okay. People with COVID can now isolate at home rather than in state facilities if they have mild or no symptoms. They also no longer need to show tests for most venues and can travel more freely inside the country. Citizens have expressed relief, but also concern about the sudden changes. Finally, I will no longer worry about getting infected or being taken away as a close contact. Can anyone explain to me what's happening? Why this change? Why is the change all of a sudden and so major? That's the thing. Like, if this is real, good for people, but you see, like, it started already. Like, it started to percolate in that realm where it's not protest about COVID anymore. It's the protest against Communist Party and Xi Jinping. What will happen now? That's how these regimes get to you. They give you the absolute bare minimum of freedom, the bare minimum of like food and things like that for you to survive. And then you kind of leave them alone. Because people that, just on a day-to-day basis, people don't need that much, unfortunately. And so when you encroach even on these like little freedoms, you get what China just did get. You get mass protests because people have nothing left to lose, because their lives can be and the freedom can be stripped away from them simply because somebody walked by close to them. This is insanity, obviously. But now, if they will get back these parts of freedom, people will forget about it and everything will continue as it was before. And the thing is, a lot of people right now might say, okay, we got what we wanted. We wanted, to be more free. We wanted to not be stuck at home, right? And I bet a lot of people in China have enjoyed recent developments in recent years, like say in the past 20 years, like going whatever from smaller villages and now to the cities and enjoying all the comforts and new gadgets and things like that, right? Like, yeah, you pay the price of censorship, you pay the price of basically forgetting about politics. It's the same thing as Russia. Basically, you don't touch us, we don't touch you, and we corrupt the country, we do whatever the fuck we want, and you just work, you have your own little thing, and that's it, right? Now, for a split second, with the zero COVID policy, Chinese completely lost control, lost their mind on trying to enforce more and more control. Now, probably they're coming to senses and thinking, wait. We don't want actually mass protests across the whole country because people have nothing to lose anymore, because we've stripped them from any dignity, anything really worth living for, so they don't care anymore. Now, if we give them back that thing, everything will go back to normal. And the scary thing is that probably it will get back to normal. Probably it will get back to normal. So yeah, it's really unfortunate. Really, really, really unfortunate that, seemingly at least, right? If it is true that Chinese Communist Party is actually is going to implement these measures, it will mean that there won't be any mass protests. It will stop eventually, right? And nobody will change the Communist Party, this regime, to anything better, and that's bad. That's bad for everybody. That's bad for the world. That's bad for the people of China. Kind of unfortunate. But okay, let's go to another one. One quick news is that EU decided that basically what navigating what? Oh my god. Avoiding sanctions. What's the word, sir? Oh my god, I'm losing my brain cells. Basically, avoiding sanctions is a criminal offense right now. I don't know if I talked about it previously or not, but this is good news. This is something that should have been done a long time ago, but good on them that they have finally have done this. Just recently, I've seen in UK, I think, arrests, probably Mikhail Friedman, like Russian oligarch, because apparently he was evading sanctions. Although obviously, like European Union, UK, different things right now. But what I'm saying is that seemingly, at least seemingly, both UK and European Union actually started to pay more attention to people who actually evade sanctions, right? Rather than just leaving it like, oh, okay, you're in the sanction list, so you must be, everything must be fine. No, those people know how to get around, the law and whatnot. So yeah, probably that news was like a couple days ago, so I don't think I'm gonna find it here. But anyway, yeah, it's good that it is right now a criminal offense. It is good that it can be punished. You can be punished for going around the sanctions and whatnot. And like I'm saying, it should have been done a long time ago, obviously, because otherwise it doesn't make any fucking sense. So yeah, good on them. Good on them. One last thing, I think, for today, kind of a weird one, but Indonesia set to penalize sex outside marriage in overhaul of criminal code, which is kind of insane. That for sex outside marriage, you can be punished for up to 1 year in jail now. The same. I didn't know about this. Legislature overhaul will also ban insulting the president of state institutions and expressing any views counter to Indonesia's state ideology. Cohabitation before marriage is also banned. I don't understand. Was Indonesia always like that, or what happened? What happened? I thought it's like a tourist country, Everything's good. Oh, it is Islam. Okay. That's interesting. It's interesting that you can read some laws and you can guess what kind of main religion in that country basically in like 3 seconds. That is so insane. That is so fucking insane. The code, if passed, and it will pass, of course, would apply to Indonesian citizens and foreigners alike, with business groups expressing concern about what damage the rule might have made on Indonesia's image as a holiday and investment destination. Well, I can tell you which one. It's going to be fucking disaster. Because believe it or not, there are other places where you can go and have some fucking holiday on the ocean, whatever. And if you can't fucking have sex, I mean, what? Excuse me? Like, what the fuck? I'm not defending by like prostitution or whatever, which I think should be legal, by the way. But it's just insane that you would do this. The drive the support of some Islamic groups in a country where conservatism is on the rise. Like, this is insane. We're living in some absolutely insane times. While we're like on one hand, in the West, we see proliferation of absolutely branded leftists into like tech institutions and media and entertainment and so on and so forth. This like wokeism, right? And on the other hand, in the East or like Central, in the East, in a sense, like in Asia, for example, we see like prevalence of conservatism and Islamism, apparently. Amazing. And so it's like, holy fucking shit. Just holy shit. Tourism operators in Indonesia still trying to recover from the devastating impacts of COVID, and now the country has passed a law that could turn some tourists away once again. Because having sex out of the wedlock is said to be outlawed. Yeah, it's kind of insane. It's kind of insane. Once again, I just don't understand, like, why would you do that? I just don't get it. Like, I don't understand why does religious fucking cunts all the time put their nose into others people's bed and others people's business in general? Like, why do you fucking care so much what others people do with their own body, in their own free time, whatever? If it's about like some child exploitation, yeah, by all means, like, it's not about banning it, it's about like finding and punishing those criminals, yeah, of course. But if it's just about like two adults, consensual relationship, like, what in the fuck is your business doing anything with that? It is so insane. It's so insane. So, yeah. Very interesting. The new law affects Indonesians and foreigners, but police will only investigate if they receive a complaint from a family member. Yeah, of course, because you should definitely trust some, once again, fucking authoritarian people who actually want to control what others do or do not do, again, in their sex life. Insane. Immense. Anyway, just wanted to bring this to attention as well, because I just saw it and I was like, what in the fuck? In which year are we living? What year is that? The year of cunts like that, apparently. Fucking insane. Alright, it's been a long one. Was mostly international edition with, Latvia is an international. So yeah, hope you enjoyed it. Like, follow, subscribe, share, all the usual stuff. Donate if you can. Subscribe on Twitch to catch it live, or follow on Twitch, whatever it is there. And next time I already have a lot of news prepared for the next episode. So yeah, See you next time. Take care. And I just want to say, like, God help us all, but like, holy shit, feels like God already has abandoned that fucking place. That's been his interesting project, and it seems like he's like, fuck that shit. Let's just end on a good note, okay? Let's just end on a good note. Vladimir Zelensky is Time Magazine's 2022 Person of the Year. I mean, that was inevitable. That was absolutely inevitable, in my opinion. But it's just great to see true good leader, young, brave, stoic, who stayed with his country, who didn't flee, didn't back down, and who's continuing to advocate for his country on an international arena, asking, everyone around the world for help, and being grateful for that, and just being a great stoic leader. Fucking amazing. It's just so fucking amazing that Ukraine has, and it's so incredible that Russia is trying to use it as a derogatory, he's a clown, he's a comedian. But it is so incredible that a person, basically like self-made person, can become a president and can become like a hero for his people. Unlike someone in America with orange hairs, aka Trump. This is the true leader. This is the face of a true leader. It's amazing. I just wish Ukraine really quick. I mean, it's not quick already, but as quick as they can to beat Russia, to send them out of fucking, to send them home, send them fucking packing. Because Ukraine deserves to be free, and they deserve for this war to stop fucking immediately. Yesterday, really, but as soon as possible. And I hope that international leaders will actually fucking step up their game and deliver more and more weapons, because this is what Ukraine needs right now. Yeah, and I hope this man, I hope it never happens to him, because he's a symbol of freedom. He's a symbol of freedom for people like me who lives in a fucking dictatorship state and who wishes that could be my leader. Although I don't like leaders in general, but like, my representative, let's put it that way. So yeah, okay, we're gonna talk about Ukraine, about all the things later, but for now, for today, I think we're gonna end here on the face of this brilliant man. Okay, stay safe, take care.